Sorry for delaying getting started on this case. The next case is CV 1912524. This is in the interest of Ezekiel Perez and Gabriel Perez, children. The case is set for a permanency hearing and pretrial. The case is currently set for trial August 26th, 2021 at 3:30, with a dismissal date of September 1st, 2021. Hearing today is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is caseworker Heather Fowler and Brown County Attorney Shane Britton. Mother of the children is Angelica Perez, and she is participating in the hearing today with her attorney Jennifer Broughton. The father of the child, Gabriel, is Louis Perez, who's incarcerated in a Texas Department of Criminal Justice facility. He is not present, and his attorney, Lyden Larry Meadows, is not present. The father of the child, Ezekiel, is Blake Anderson, and he is not present, but he's represented today by his attorney, Chris Brown. Emily Miller is the attorney and guardian ad litem for the children, and she is participating in the hearing today. Christopher and Nicole Mitchell are interveners in the case as to the child Ezekiel, and they are participating in the hearing today. And I'll correct the record. Blake Anderson, the father of Ezekiel, I believe, is now joining our hearing as well. I'm just, y'all stand by for a minute. I think he's still joining. While we're waiting, the children are excused from participating in the hearing today. Mr. Brown, I don't know if your client's having some difficulty. I clicked a little while ago for him to join, and it still shows he's joining, but he's not yet.
I'm not sure, Judge. He indicated that he is being allowed in. I don't know.
Well, we can wait a few more minutes to see if they'll let him in here. Mr. Brown, do you have a way to reach him? You might want to try to call him and see if he can call in, because I'm not sure if it's his internet connection or what, but it still shows he's joining, but he's not.
I'm texting with him now, Judge.
In fact, I think he just dropped off. So, Mr. Brown, you get any response from him? I still don't show him in my screen.
No, Judge, I haven't gotten a response to the last couple of text messages. I don't know. I guess we can just proceed and I'll fill him in as needed.
Well, if you don't have an objection, I'll go ahead and proceed. And then if he pops up in my screen and wants to try to call in, we can let him in.
Okay.
But as I know, this is set for a permanency hearing and pretrial. If we're ready to proceed, I'm going to ask, let's see, I believe Ms. Perez, Mr. Mitchell, Ms. Fowler, Mrs. Mitchell. If each of you could raise your right hand, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right. Let's see. Mr. Britton.
Thank you, Judge. I call Miss Fowler. Miss Fowler, you are a permanency case manager for 2 Engage.
Yes, sir.
You are assigned the case of Gabriel Perez and Ezekiel Perez.
Yes, sir.
Remind us of their current placements.
Ezekiel Perez is placed with Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell, and Gabriel Perez is placed with Miss Washington in Lancaster, Texas.
And we've had some attempted extended visits or I guess extended visits with mom, and those have been unsuccessful thus far.
Yes, sir.
And I believe the last time, the last time we were in court, there had been a weekend visit that something had occurred, and I don't want to rehash that, but the child was there for a weekend visit, and you had felt like something inappropriate happened. Now, since that incident, tell us what's going on.
Since that visit, we changed the visitation plan and went back to supervised visits with mom, with Gabriel, to 2 hours every other week. Ezekiel's still getting 3 hours every week, except for once a month. Both boys are coming together in Lancaster and being supervised with mom for 2 hours. And then we asked mom to also re-engage in counseling with Miss Kay Oliver and do some protective parenting with her, and some counseling to cover protective parenting.
Okay. So now, you said periodically mom visits with both children, and those are in Lancaster?
Yes, once a month we are taking Ezekiel up to Lancaster to share a visit with Gabriel, Ezekiel, and Miss Perez all together in one visit that's being supervised by one of our staff members for 2 hours.
Okay. And so who transports Ezekiel to Lancaster?
Our support worker.
Okay. That's a pretty long day for a 2-year-old, or nearly 2-year-old, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So Zeke gets picked up, driven to Lancaster, 2-hour visit, and then driven back.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But when I talked to you yesterday, you indicated that there had been some discussion of some resolution or a partial resolution of the case.
Now, this is from my understanding from a text that I had received from Miss Mitchell, that she had spoke with Miss Perez as far as Ezekiel's side.
Okay.
And you may be able to get more clarification as far as that. But from my understanding, they had discussed maybe the Mitchells getting
Your
PNs.
Honor, I'm going to
Okay.
object to any settlement negotiations. We have mediation scheduled in 3 weeks. I don't know what the purpose of this questioning would be, and I don't think it's appropriate.
I'll sustain that.
And so you and maybe misunderstood my question. I wasn't asking what
Sorry.
the terms were. I was just asking how this came about.
Oh, it was just after they.
No, just let me ask the questions. Okay. And so I believe what you said was that Miss Mitchell had texted you and indicated that she had talked to Angelica. I'm not asking what was said.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just didn't understand how that had occurred. Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Broughton, any questions?
Ms. Fowler, we're going to go to a mediation, I believe on August 6th. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the hope would be that we're able to resolve this case for both children and all the parties. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that Ms. Perez and I don't necessarily agree with your assessment of the weekend visits or any of that. We're not in agreement with your assessment of that, but we are in agreement with proceeding as planned to that mediation and kind of dealing with those issues at that point. Do you understand that?
I understand.
And is it to engage's intentions to increase visits between now and August 6th?
I would agree to a 1 hour increase with Gabriel's visitation, yes.
And has Ms. Perez begun, the protective parenting was a new request that to engage requested within the last 30 days, is that correct?
Yes.
And she has begun the protective parenting classes, is that your understanding?
She has began the protective parenting with Ms. Kay Oliver that we requested.
And she is paying for those classes out of pocket herself, is that correct?
We didn't request those classes. We requested her do the parenting with Ms. Kay Oliver, and we are paying her.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. See, Mr. Brown, any questions?
No, sir.
And thank you, Ms. Miller. Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Fowler, we have had the opportunity to talk about new and different services that might be required for mom over the course of the last month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so I want to be very clear on what those are. That is for her to return to counseling, although she had previously completed counseling, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is with Ms. Kay Oliver.
Yes, ma'am.
And as part of that counseling, he is instructed to discuss protective parenting and protective parenting techniques. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but on her own and on her own initiative, she went and signed up for and started paying for and taking the protective parenting class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so we certainly don't think that that's going to hurt anything. But all you're asking for is that she return to counseling with Miss Oliver and cover those specific topics. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And has she been to see Miss Oliver since the monitored return or since the visit was disrupted?
She has completed 2 full sessions with Miss Oliver, to my knowledge.
Okay, within the last month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is going to be her counseling schedule going forward?
Meet with her for 1 hour a week.
Okay, can you get closer to the microphone because you're breaking up? So
Sorry.
she's with her 1 hour a week?
Yes.
Okay. And have there been any communication problems or showing up problems as far as counseling with Miss Oliver is concerned?
Yes, ma'am. She had missed the first appointment, and contacted her after the appointment had ended and let her know that her phone had been disconnected, had to work late. And then Miss Oliver contacted me today and let me know that once this week she was at a discount tire place during the event. So Miss Oliver said that was not appropriate to continue her counseling session there.
Hold on just a second. We can't understand you, Ms. Fowler.
I'm gonna just a second. I'm gonna go through and mute everybody else other than Miss Miller and Miss Fowler because I'm getting a lot of background noise and I don't know where it's coming from. And I'll see if that helps. I'll stand by for just a second. All right, let's try that again. Go ahead, Miss Miller. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. She had also let me know that she had called her from a discount tire company this past week, and Miss Oliver let her know that was not appropriate place to hold a session. So she ended the session there. She said the next time she tried to contact her, she was at a Burger King. So she told her again that was not an appropriate place to have a session, and asked her when she could be at home for a whole hour for them to have a session. And so she's waiting to set up an hour-long session for this week.
Okay, so are these sessions taking place remotely? Are these on Zoom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so it sounds like Miss Perez might be looking for a hotspot or a Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi hotspot, correct?
That may be possible.
Okay, and so could you, if that's something that she's needing, could you provide her with some public Wi-Fi hotspot locations where she could go and do those counseling sessions where she's not doing them in public?
If she would like to contact us, yes, I'm sure we could find somewhere that she could possibly do those that's not one of those locations, yes.
All right. I mean, it seems as though the problems that we're having are due to communication problems, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I don't have any further questions of Ms. Fowler. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mitchell, any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, let's see, Mr. Britton, I think I'm back to you. Any questions?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Fowler from any of the other attorneys?
No.
No.
Mr. Britton, did you have other witnesses?
No.
All right, Ms. Broughton, did you have any witnesses?
If I could just briefly call my client, Judge.
All right, let's see, Ms. Perez, I've previously swore you in your name under oath. If you could unmute your device, please. I can hear you. All right, go ahead.
As you understand, we're going back to mediation the first week of August. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that To Engage is wanting to continue your supervised visits between now and then with both kiddos. Is that you understand that's what they're asking for?
Yes, ma'am.
And ultimately, at a final hearing, we may have a lot of stuff to present about that, but for today's purposes, we're comfortable going forward to mediation and seeing what we can get worked out then. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you tell me what's happening with the counseling that you've started up again and why that's been a struggle, or tell me what's going on with that?
So I had told Miss Kay Oliver when I was at Discount Tire, I told her I had gotten a flat and I was getting my tire replaced, and I had already been there waiting for almost 3 hours because they had about 15 people in front of me, and I was outside on a picnic table. I wasn't near anyone. It was secluded because everyone was inside, and I was outside on this picnic table trying to talk to her. And the only reason she said that we were going to cancel that, the only reason she hung up and ended the meeting was because it started raining outside.
So you weren't trying to avoid the session or trying to not be cooperative. You were just trying to do it on Zoom with where you were. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you, as you have throughout the entire case, do you continue to do everything that's been asked of you by To Engage as far as your services are concerned?
Absolutely.
And in addition to restarting counseling, have you started protective parenting on your own?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Britton, any questions?
No.
And let's see, Mr. Brown
No, sir.
and Mr. Miller
No, Your Honor.
and Mr. Mitchell.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Broughton, any other witnesses?
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Any witness you want to call?
No, Your Honor.
And let's see, Ms. Muller,
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Mitchell, any witnesses or matters?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Fowler, I was trying to make my notes. You said, what is the current visitation arrangement for Ezekiel? It's still 3 hours
It's 3 hours every week,
every week. Okay.
except for on 1 week, he will go up to Lancaster and visit with his brother and Miss Perez for 2 hours.
Thank you. All right, well, the court's going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue the children in the current placement and improve the current visitation arrangement. The next hearing is set August 26, 2021 at 3:30. That's the trial. Appreciate the attorneys and parties working together to try to resolve this case and encourage y'all to do that mediation so you can come to some resolution in the case. It's the sum or all of it. All right, with that, I will remind the parents that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your children may be subject to restriction or even termination. And your progress in any court orders or planned service will be reviewed at future hearings in the case. With that,